And hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host,
Tank.
And we're here on the front lines, in the battle against the Deep State, the Cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and Black Cats versus White Cats, in the final battle at T-6 and counting. How's it going, Tank?
Everything is wonderful. I'm very, very excited. Had a long conversation with Kim tonight. And, and Kim was very, playful and fun and good spirits. She had some great ideas about how to, about the next 6 days. So I want to pass this on to everybody because I want to share this responsibility with everybody. Okay. So first thing is everything goes. So the way what has happened here on the planet is every 1,008 years there is a cycle. So you have the darkness is in control for 1,008 years, then the light for 1,008 years, right? So we're obviously at the end of a cycle of darkness. Now, this is the 9th cycle, so there won't be, another cycle. So basically, what happens over the next 6 days will decide, what this planet's going to be, right? So that's very important to know, right? Now, with that in mind, Kim emphasized that it's very important to bring as much light and levity into the world as possible. Now, everything out there right now is doom and gloom, right? It's the COVID virus. They're trying to annihilate us. It's depopulation. It's all these different things, right? And remember, this is the reset plan. Now, the Draconian Queen has already approved the restoration plan, right? And that's Kim's plan. Now, in this restoration plan, there is thousands, hundreds of thousands, of accounts, and they're all allocated for different things in different places, right? So if you have, community revitalization, American community revitalization might be an account. There might be one for, water in Uganda. All types of different funds they've already been separated out, and there is funds there available for any project you can think of anywhere you are in the world. So this is what is really gives us the opportunity and the hope and the possibility and the drive, partially to revitalize the global economy, and also here in the U.S. And because if you really think about it, if this money is made available to the people, then we can start to really thrive, right? We can actually start to do things. So with that in mind, there's been a battle that has been going on since, I believe, Ken told me, I don't know, maybe since JFK, right? So basically, we've all touted that JFK is, he's a good guy, but, well, JFK was actually part of the Black Sun and worked with, now the Black Sun is the Treasury, right? So what he was really trying to do is be in control of, the Black Sun via the Treasury. And the Federal Reserve is the Rothschilds, right, the Nazi group. Now they're a created opposition for one another, right? And this is how Marduk would build things. He would create these two opposition and pit them against each other. And so they're both doing the exact same thing. They have the same plan, the same, because the source is the same. But they're constantly competing with each other and devouring each other, and Marduk could have cared less, right?
Yeah. And each one trying to get the attention of the father, right? It's like two warring siblings.
Exactly. So basically, you have, the IRA works directly, whether they know it or not, with the CIA, right? And the IRA out of Ireland, right? The head of the IRA is called the Jack, right? That's the code name. And the Jack is the one who's always setting up and knows where everybody is, right? The mob, or every which direction where everybody's going. So, Kim was recently contacted by, I guess, the Jack. I'm not sure it's him or just somebody in Black Sun, right? But basically, what is happening right now is that Kim brought this money in. She brought in $350 billion, right? So that for the first round of payments. So the first round of stimulus that went out there was, Kim brought the money in for. So that was $360 billion, which you may notice that this is the number that Steve Mnuchin just mentioned. So, and all Kim said is, okay, you have to pay the administration fee, or the admin fee. And what Kim was going to do with that admin fee, which, is, I don't know, some number of $1 billion, right? 40 something. Actually, I'm not sure what it is, up $360 billion. So it's maybe, I don't know, $7 million or whatever, right? But she was going to take that and she was going to buy all the necessary equipment for the hospitals, right? She was going to take that money that's hers, and she was just going to do that, for free of charge, just to, to take away a way that they're trying to jack up prices and make money. So in addition to she was giving the money for the stimulus, she was also going to take her, that money, and pay her people and take care of that as well. So what happened is she transferred her money into Bank of America, right? And President Trump made a deal with Bank of America. And then 2-3 days went by, they didn't clear it. Kim pulled all the money back. Next week, she did the same thing, right? But she put it in Chase Bank this time. Trump had made a deal with Chase. Once again, they didn't clear her money. She pulled it all back. So now what she's done is she's brushed off an old system from like the 40s to relaunch the post office as a viable solution, right? So now, in addition to the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, you now have a more reliable source, or third option for the president, which is the post office, right? So now, how that plays out exactly, I don't know, but she did say that some things should happen over the next 2 or 3 days that should make everything possible to flow, right? But in the meantime, she's not banking on that per se. What she did say is that yesterday I had mentioned this network, that people were raising money for the network, and I want to clarify. Okay, so Kim is very careful about not having people raise money in her name or for her in that way, right? Now, these people did not have malicious intent. They were raising this because Kim had a conversation with her friend, Alicia. And in this conversation, she was saying that she wanted to create a network. I believe it's called the United Independent Network or something like that, or United News Net or something, United News Network or something like that, right? But basically, she wanted to create a network that was actually talking to people about solutions and options and good things that are happening, and talking about how people are, fighting back against the virus, and also a lot of levity, and just really making light of it to encourage people that it's not such darkness out there. Right now, it will obviously take money to do this, and there's money that will, obviously we're building to a point where money won't be an issue that way. But these people, they took it upon themselves to try to raise that money. So I misspoke kind of yesterday. I want to be clear because people attack her for everything, right? It's the same reason why we don't really, even though we obviously need money, we don't raise money from, for the Speak Project. We don't solicit donations. We don't run ads. We don't sell products, right? But, from time to time, people have given us money, which we greatly appreciate. But to be perfectly honest, we can't count on it. But I will say that, every dime we get, we put right back into what we do, right? We pay for, the emails, the internet, and all the different bills that we have, because we do have, fairly significant expenses when we have 4 websites we run, and plus we do a lot of work and travel and all types of things that we're doing. So we kind of run on faith, right? So, and Kim really does that too. She paints houses and stuff. She's hustling all the time. So I want to be clear because, guy who headed up, Jimmy, he's a good friend of ours, and he does a lot of work for us, and we appreciate it. So, they probably overstepped a little bit, but, it wasn't malicious in any way. So I just want to clarify that.
No, good, good to know.
Yeah. And I did. I just got the phone with Kim a couple hours ago. So, now, with that being said, Kim asked me for a very specific Mother's Day gift to her, which I have already started my production team on. So that'll be coming out this week, and that should definitely be very fun. And you guys will see that. And I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I'm just letting you know it's coming. It's going to be a really good week. But on what I loved more than anything with the Kim said, I asked her, very specifically, and I just for the sake of asking, I was like, Kim is, I'm assuming that the frequency and the vibration, all this has an impact on what you're doing, right? And she was adamant. And she's like, absolutely. She goes, it's so important right now. And she goes, and what we do right now will decide. This is the final battle, and you are all part of it. So what we do from this moment forward, now that is on you, the way it's on me, I would say that we can have so much fun right now in this last part of the battle, because the actual weapon that we're using is, in fact, love and peace and joy and laughter, which I would so much rather do than talk about the dark, horrible things going on. Now, also is solutions, right? Very much about solutions. So, I know we're going to be talking about, I have solutions that are going to be hitting tomorrow. Things that are coming out immediately to counteract the nonsense that's been taking place with here in New York, going after them very aggressively. We have a business that's going to open up tomorrow, and there's going to be people there, to support it. And I'm going to make sure to do the same. And so I'm pretty excited. Things feels really, really powerful. The energy is really good, and I feel great about it. And I'm very, very encouraged by everything Kim had to say. She was talking about this very much, as a broadcast news network, a very professional network, right? And with civilians who can put things out there, the whole platform. And she actually has a prototype for this coming out tomorrow. I don't know if it's coming out, but she'll have it.
Patriot California.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I just turned on BitChute because there's just because there's a sheriff there that is basically is supporting the people, and it was kind of lining up with what you were just saying, so I was getting it queued up, but I decided to run away with things. But yeah, he's very. He said he's not going to support any stay-at-home orders, and he's there while I guess the county is voting on removing in defiance of the governor's order, removing these stay-at-home orders.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which I recommend to everyone. Stop staying at home. Stop wearing masks. I've walked into a dozen different stores where people were wearing masks, and every single time I walk in, actually I'll even send this, Dan, you can post it, but there's an actual executive order that says that if you're medically sensitive, you do not have to wear a mask. Well, everybody is medically sensitive to breathing their own waste.
Yeah.
Right? If you're breathing into a mask, it's catching carbon dioxide, you're breathing it back in over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I did a report one day with a mask on. I really got lightheaded. I was like, gosh, I talked for like 6 minutes, and I was like, this is ridiculous. You can't do this.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you need to have oxygen, and you need to be able to breathe it in. And then if
everybody's sensitive to, everybody needs fresh air. Period. So you are all sensitive. You're medically sensitive to wearing a mask all the time, and it is absurd. It's not stopping anything. This is ridiculous. The science doesn't even support it.
Right.
What they're trying to promote.
Exactly. The science doesn't support it, and the evidence, when you bring it up, like those two doctors did, they remove you from YouTube. Get a couple million people watching, and oh no, we can't have that. Can't have the science saying we can't wear masks. Or it doesn't.
And I'll tell you, have you ever heard this? I'm sure you already heard it, but I never saw this before. This is a quote from Henry Kissinger in a speech to the World Health Organization Council on Eugenics, February 25th, 2009. That's what he said. Once the herd, that's us, accepts mandatory, forcible vaccination, it's game over. They will accept anything. Forcible blood or organ donation for the, quote, greater good. We can genetically modify children. Well, genetically modify children and sterilize them for, quote, the greater good. Control the sheep minds and you control the herd. Vaccine makers stand to make billions, and many of you in this room today are investors. It's a big win-win. We thin out the herd, and the herd pays us for providing extermination services. Now, what's for lunch?
Yeah, that sounds like Kissinger. Yeah. Did he come over in Operation Paperclip? I just wonder,
whenever I hear the greater good, right? Now I've heard my kid's own pediatrician say this, right? Who used to live like 2 houses down from me, and we'd walk his dog together, and we'd talk, and he said one time, he goes, yeah, you got to give vaccinations to people that, and there was negative reactions. He goes, but you know what? It's for the greater good. Now, the greater good is a CIA PSYOPs program, right? When you sell people on your sacrifice is for the greater good. You could justify anything by saying it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
If I don't like a certain race of people and I drop a bomb on them, I can say, oh, it was for the greater good, because I didn't agree with what they were saying, right? The greater good is really just how quasi-powerful individuals impose genocidal tendencies on, an idiotic plan, and do something awful, right? It is not for the greater good.
Right.
What makes us as people, what really can and should unite us, is not that we want other people that think the exact same way that we do, that do the exact same things that we do, that believe what we believe, in the same God we believe in, the same, spiritual hierarchy or whatever it is, the same party and everything else. That is not what should unite us. In fact, these things shouldn't divide us. All of these differences that we have, they should be the qualities that make us stand together. Because I should be willing to stand up for Dan's right to, support Q, and because his ability to speak freely about Q supports my ability to speak freely about Kim, right? So why wouldn't why wouldn't those differences make us closer? And I think people see you and I, don't always have the exact same, view on things all the time, right?
Should I bring up the
friends.
Should I bring up the babies?
You can go ahead, but I'm right.
But both the babies are right. No, it's true. No, it's not everyone can have this exact same viewpoint or anything because we're not the same. We're not equal. We're different, and it should be that way. That is that's the point. We need to have the differences to celebrate those and not look for everything being identical. Which if you look at the in this battle that we're in, and we can take different battle FrontLines battles, right? And that's like communism is one of those. And I always look at that as communism versus capitalism, but there's more to it. It's whenever you talk about communism, you go back to the old sitcoms. They'd always show like I say the communists. They always had like the Russian. They'd all be like the USSR, right? And the women would always be wearing the military uniforms, and they were just like men, right? They enforced this idea of women and men are equal; they're the same, right? And so it's that's why this is really the wrong path, right? Because we're not the same, we're not equal. You can say we're equal in our rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, but the pursuit of happiness for guys is different from the pursuit of happiness of women, right? And that's okay, and that should be celebrated. And when there's always been like the girls always hung out together, and they have the girls things to do, and the guys got together and they hung out and did the guys things. Now the women use this as an opportunity to say, "Oh, you guys, you're all gay because you're hanging out together." They throw that in the middle, right? They always try to like say, "You guys, what are you guys doing?" "Oh, get a room." If you say, they say things like that. It's like, and it's rude and it's disrespectful to what the guys are doing, and the girls have no idea what we're doing, right? If we're posturing against each other or whatever, ripping against each other. Or the way guys handle things is different. I think I brought this up before. When I grew up, guys didn't cry. Cry, a tear forming in the corner of your eye. Are you a girl? Right? If my son, and I told my son, why crying? Are you a boy or a girl? Right?
Yeah, I mean.
But I'm not saying. Listen.
But I feel you. I feel you. Look, you're right. I mean, there's differences between us. Like, look, I'll cry at a movie. I care less. It doesn't make me less of a man.
Right. If you say so.
But yeah, I'm just saying. Well, it's a college wrestler. I'm just saying. But so.
No, you prove yourself. Go ahead. Posture a little.
Yeah, I'm saying. But when I look at these things, and I'm like, first of all, Lisa talks about this all the time. She's like, no woman is attracted to this sissified version of men anymore. This group that is afraid to actually, we've watered down what it means to be a man so much that you can hardly, we're not allowed to have an opinion anymore. We're not allowed to speak strongly. If we do, it's like we can't say anything about anyone, right? And we look at this as a celebration of femininity, but it's not, right? It's not. Because what they did with the feminist movement is they destroyed everything that's powerful about a woman as a woman. And they forced them and pushed them to become like men. So you have a CEO of a company as a woman, all by herself. She's more than capable and powerful as a woman. She doesn't have to act like the traditional CEOs that are men, right? That doesn't empower women. What it does is say women are not enough by themselves. They have to act like men.
Yeah.
And that's not true. they're the ones who destroyed what it means to be a woman, not us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the
and
other,
I, you know,
and part of that also is that the the mothers stopped teaching the daughters how to be mothers.
right,
The fathers stopped teaching their sons how to be fathers.
right,
The master apprentice relationship has been removed, right? So always there's no respect for the elders across the board. It's always supporting whatever the kids are doing. It's okay. It's let them do it, right? It's their own thing. No, you gotta teach the kids right from wrong, right?
but yeah,
And
it's
male.
funny. I was with my sons today. I was with my sons today, and I was in my my kids are, I mean, compared to every other kid I see their age, they're so respectful. There's just good kids, right? But they're good kids because I was like a drill sergeant when they were little, right? I've taught them, sort of things. So today they got a little out of control with things, and I noticed the pattern. I said, I'm like, you don't have an excuse right now. You're home. I'm like, so I took all their things away. I'm like, all the games and I pulled the damn Lutz on them. I'm like, all these things are gone. You're not all your games, your phone. I'm like, I don't want to hear. Because the fact of the matter is, you are home. You are a direct reflection of this family. And if you're going to act that way, around your grandparents or act disrespectful like that, I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I make sure. I'm like, we need men to do that. Because look, I'm close with my kids. I mean, I know, this is a big thing. Like people, they're like, you're the parent, not the friend. Now, I hang out with my sons. Like, my sons ride bikes. I ride bikes with them. I still ride a skateboard with them. Ride a half pipe if I need to. I hang out with my kids. I do everything they do. Right? I make sure I can beat them at basketball even now, right? So I'm they're into anime. So if they're into it, I'm into it too. Because I think a father's job is to make sure they know what their kids are doing. And I've told my kids several times, I'm like, if I see you slip up, I'll stop everything else I'm doing. I'll follow you to class. I'll go with you every place. They'll never get rid of me. Because I cannot have my legacy and my was it prosperity? Prosperity? Yeah, like my children, the next generation go out into the world and not be prepared. I need them to set an example. I tell them all the time, we have a standard. When everybody else is running out, we're running in. It's just who we are. It's just that's what our family name means. Period. And I just think we need more men to be willing to do that, right? But they don't want to yell at anybody. They don't want to conflict, right? They're too busy watered down versions of men.
Yeah, exactly. So where we take a stand, right, against things, we have to really be able to act, right, and
Yeah.
this is part of what has happened is that the purposeful demasculating men, so that we don't take a stand, right, or we don't know what to do because we weren't taught by our fathers. We weren't taught by our seniors, even one of the other things is like the whole idea of nursing homes, and things like that is also eliminating, if the traditional ways that your grandparents would be staying with you at home, right? Because there was a family core there. But if the man and the woman are both out at work trying to make a living, and there's no people home for the kids, and then there's the elderly that are in need of help. They've made it okay to send them off, right? Discount their value to the family, right? Because they have to be taken care of. Well, it's just like when babies come into the world, they need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I hear about people sending their kids off to summer camp. I'm like, how? I'm like, there is, kids measure love in time, right? So, every, you know, anytime I'm away from my kids, I'm like, you can't get that time back.
Yeah.
Like they'll be adults for the rest of their life, but they're only going to be kids now.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't want to let that go. So, well,
so
no, I was just gonna say I was
go ahead.
just thinking about so where I don't know how to say this exactly because we kind of covered it, but where are we sitting with Kim in regards to the where the post offices and the banks are kind of like the same thing? Do we have any more information about that?
No, I mean, other than what I just told you, I mean, so basically, you, you at least have options as far as how, you know, President Trump is handling that. It's kind of what's up for debate, right?
Yeah.
I can't say definitively until I see it with my own eyes, right?
I know you mentioned,
but it would appear that
when off.
he keeps.
I said before we got online, you mentioned that Trump had said something about that. That's why I was kind of what was it? Not that not about the it was at the new postmaster general, or
Yes, a new postmaster general was appointed.
yeah.
So I think that's one big component, and obviously, we always talk about like you're looking for witnesses for what we're talking about, right? Because people are always like, people are always trying to throw rocks at each other, say, we're a liar, you're a liar, whatever. So we told you last week, Monday, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe before,
1 week ago, exactly.
That the post office can repurpose the post office and brought back the function of the post office bank, right? And she told me tonight it was like some system from like 1943 that she brushed off and basically put it on steroids, right?
Yeah.
So then you have a few days later, you have a new postmaster general appointment, right? So, and I had a meeting last weekend. So it was 2 weeks ago when I first told you. So last weekend they had the meeting about on Saturday with Mnuchin and whatever they were talking about, the new post office. Now, that doesn't do away with this useless group there that is working. But I did learn something today that was new. Something else Kim told me. So, because these guys who've been using adrenochrome for like 30 years, right? Your body essentially stops making adrenaline, so they need it, daily to survive, right?
Right.
So, but now that I was familiar with, but this part I'd never heard before. So, they use the adrenochrome to basically open their third eye, right? And
sure.
Now these are abilities that people have naturally, right? But it basically gives them kind of like a version of kind of like psychic abilities, right?
Right.
And I thought that was I had not heard that. I suspected it, but I hadn't heard that. But then she said this, and this really fascinated me. She said basically they're the Walking Dead, right? And I was thinking about how these zombie movies, right? They'll portray in these zombie movies. There's two of them that came out recently. One is a series called iZombie, and then there's another one I can't remember what it's called. But basically, in this, they showed how when the zombies would eat the brains, right? They humanize the zombies, right? They would eat the brains of their victim. That essentially they would get the thoughts, emotions, talents, abilities, and experiences of those individuals, right?
Right.
So she said, now the problem with adrenochrome and why they have to go to something else is because when they use it, if they use someone who's older and they say they were a World War II veteran, right? They'll get flashbacks and the experiences of that World War II veteran. So that's why the focus is so much on this fresh adrenochrome from, fetuses or infants, from the time they're born. Because they have no, regrets from the past and they have no expectations from the future. They don't have those memories. So it's pure.
I think
so that's why that's such a high commodity.
I wonder if that actually comes not exactly from the adrenochrome, but it could be. But I wonder if it actually comes from the blood. because there's memory is carried in water, right? So that the liquid of the blood, the maybe that's where the memories are being brought in through. And I see the adrenochrome as way opening up that third eye, and then you can really you know have access to that extra abilities. Pierce the veil, access source without the muck getting in the middle.
Right. Well, right. I mean, whatever it is. Yes, water is definitely programmable. Like, right, we're made of living water, and so that makes sense. And then I'm sure that there's just throughout the whole body, right? There's just genetic memory that's there, right? And so if you're taking someone's cells and whatever the organs from their body, like you can see how that would translate, right? So, and that's basically part of the issue they're having, right? And why, and she confirmed what I've been saying for a long time now, that the reason why Cuomo legalized abortion is all the way up to full term is so that they could harvest these adrenal glands from these infants, right? Under it's not really legal, but at least they could hide it easier, right? As if it's legal, and then at the same time you have these illegal aliens who they're like basically like, oh, you could be illegal here. It's a sanctuary state. And, come get a license and do all they can. So it's not just to get votes. It's so that you can have these young women come in who want to stay in the country, want to be sent back to wherever they're from. And so they'll use them as incubators to have babies and then take their baby, right?
Yep.
And call it an abortion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can see how that would be a very profitable business, but also it's something they need to survive.
Yeah. Well, just also, I see, we're talking about, the differences between the older generation now between men and women. One of the things that the women have stopped teaching their daughters so much is about, not sleeping around, right?
Sure.
And waiting and saving yourself for your husband, right? This was the norm. Why is that different now? Why is it that so many younger women are having sex earlier? Well, so that they can have babies, so that they can abort those babies. Maybe that's an ulterior motive to why they're pushing it this way. Oh, you should be able to do the same as guys, right? You want to be the same. You want to sleep around, right? As guys, want to just spread the seed, right? Yeah. It's just one of the things that I think we need to really get back to understanding that. I mean, there's some things that some science out there that was showing, the genetics that enter the women from the man, put it that way, actually affect the woman, right? That it kind of, changes the woman. It doesn't really change the man on that same basis, right? The man is more of a logical kind of. Let's say how I'll say this is the men learn, right, to adapt to the woman, right, to want to have that relationship. Where the women, it's kind of more of it's of a creative process and out of the emotional side. So anyway, but that part is lost on women, right? If they're getting a lot of genetic code, it's like they have conflicting programming.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I know this is not politically correct topic, right? Because it basically the women now get offended by this, right? Which I think maybe if we were 50 years ago talking about this, it wouldn't be offensive. Just saying.
No, it is what it is. To be honest, I'd rather offend people than just have them leave and not remember something. It's okay.
I'm offended that you say that.
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah, good.
So what do you think about Obama getting arrested? It sounds like its potential looks pretty good.
Well, I did seem like it's leading that direction. The focus is on what did Obama know from the January 5th meeting with, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Biden, Obama, Yates, all going to the White House to form the shadow government, so that they keep operational after Trump steps into the White House. They're going to operate from the shadow government that was set up. That's it's like the seventh floor was shut down. After a little while, Trump went in and they had to shut down the whole floor of the State Department. So it's kind of leading up, right? They're saying, what did Obama know, or what was in that meeting? What did they discuss in that meeting? And so you have all of these characters, right? Are they going to all take the fall for Obama? Because they're all caught red-handed, right? It is treason, right? It is treason. It's black and white, right? So now, are they going to just allow Obama off, and they're going to try and protect him? All of them. There's not one that will be turned. I think Brennan is easy to turn, right? I doubt he really he is not. I think he's more of a coward, I think, than Comey. He's too arrogant to think that he's going to take the fall by himself. Clapper is bumbling, and he'll probably just fall in that direction. So I think that he's looking like he's being it's being positioned to like allow these guys to step forward and basically try and get some sort of leniency. There's not going to be a deal. No, they're all going to go down. But how long will that be for? Will they be in jail for 10 years? 20 years? Will they avoid the death penalty? No more.
It's a death penalty no matter how you slice it. I mean, they go to jail no matter how long they're in there. They're going to get killed.
Well, you notice
they don't commit suicide.
You notice that they might put them in the same prison cell as Epstein, right? So.
Well, I mean, also you cut off their adrenochrome, they're going to die. They'll just fade out.
Yeah. That's true. So without that, so I think it's shaping up that way, where they're really going to that Obama will be the shot that is heard around the world, right? This is the indictment that's going to come because, listen, all clandestine operations, all of them are White House driven by the president. All of them. There isn't any that isn't. It all requires his approval. And actually, it's his operation, right? It's their job to bring what the president wants, forward to direct the foreign policy. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to hear. I think it's Obama. It's going to be the big name. The rest of them will follow.
They're saying pretty clearly at this point that this effort to entrap General Flynn goes all the way to the top with Barack Obama, right? So you have to imagine. I mean, this is your commander in chief. If he is able to entrap one of his generals, I mean, there's got to be an intent and motive there that's clearly going to lead back to treason. I mean, I'm not sure if that's treason all by itself. So it's like, he should definitely be killed off, right? I mean, not killed off. I'm saying like that would be the punishment for treason is death, right?
It is.
So I expect that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Trump, every time he talks about it, he keeps saying long prison sentence. He always says that. I think, at least recently. Before there was, I think he had said, punishable with death. I think I heard him say it once, but really he focuses on prison sentences. But yes, it can also be the death penalty, and is appropriate at this point. What we're really talking about, it is appropriate because it's the weaponization of the whole government against the people. You can say the IRS was used against the Tea Party by Obama, right? He basically instructed them to, rake these guys over the coals to get the Tea Party to disband. Like, who can get together in their daily busy lives to get together, and then they have to face the IRS as well, and under these same circumstances, that you can see what they've done to Roger Stone, they did to the Tea Party, right? This is the ultimate full power and force of the government turned against you unrighteously, and what can you do? Right? And now we have the censorship on top of that, right? You can't even get out onto Facebook to complain about it. You can't get it to everyone because they shadow ban you, and you can be screaming, but all the doors and windows are closed. No one can barely hear you unless they come to the room with you.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. There's one thing like with setting up this network, because we're constantly reaching out to get people to do stuff for us for free, right? And with the promise, like, we'll take care of you. We'll make sure to come back to you. Now, with that being said, we also don't take money, right? So like my whole team is like lives on faith. I mean, we never know how we get from day to day, right? Now Kim does that. We get that from Kim. Now my whole team embraces that exact mentality, which, by the way, I don't recommend, and I'm not putting this on anyone. But my whole team does that because I do, right? And then my right hand, Sidori, she's made sure that that's been the line, right?
Yeah.
And but it's amazing because we had one time where we had something set up, and I didn't set it up, but they mentioned Kim because of me, and so it looked like like they were soliciting donations using Kim's name, and so we avoid that all the time. Like, we make sure nothing. That's why we were so all over this one, right?
Right.
But I look at this, but it's so important. But this idea that Kim has right now, Kim, in addition to all the other things that she's doing, like she's innovative and creative naturally, right? And she talks about this in one of the videos we have, like how people are naturally creators, right? And it's unfortunate that, in a way, that she's kind of been locked in this bubble because she's such a creative person, and she's really fun to talk to about these things, right? And especially when she's in good spirits, right? Yeah. So this network is such a great. I mean, we all know this has to happen, right? Now I have other things in place on a larger scale, for networks, but in the meantime, we could get this up and running, right? But the challenge is, so I can appreciate what these guys are doing, right? Just trying to raise money. But I was thinking about it, like, it's so essential right now. It's so essential right now that the truth is allowed to get out there and thrive, because they're using the media to cast this, hazy, gray mush of depression over everyone. They came out with numbers. It said that from death, alcohol, and drugs, that they expect about 75,000 people to die, right, from the treatment, or so to speak, of what they've done with COVID. Which, meanwhile, Sweden, they just let people, distance, safely, told them to be careful, didn't tell them to wear masks, didn't shut down business, and they have the exact same rates as we do. So, what's the point? What was the point of doing all this? If the science, because that you could look at as a scientific study, right? That you have a whole country that did this. Yeah. So what is the problem? Why are we here in New York, where we have sneeze guards up at every cash register that are going from the floor to the ceiling, right? It's like every place you go, it's like looking at bulletproof glass. Then you got everybody wearing masks, like just pack a jack out. I mean, we just all look stupid. Like, why are we doing this? There's no science to back this up, even.
Right. In fact, that's the same that those doctors had brought up. Every country that did social distancing, stay at home, against the countries that did not have exactly the same infection rate of the general population. Yeah, 20%. This one was 19. This one was 20. This one, actually, the one that was lower was the one that did not do stay at home. So it's
Wow.
yeah, but I mean, it's only a percentage, so it's basically the same, right? How many people got tested, and that there's variances between but it's basically the same. I mean, you have to think that a virus is basically genetic dust, right? It's just floating around. It's not alive. It has no legs to jump 13 feet, right? All it's doing, it's being carried around in the air, right, or on surfaces. If it's, it'll just land on something, right? And you touch it, you brush up against it, you carry it along. We're swimming in this stuff, right? The air is much thinner than the water, but it's basically, holding things that we don't see. It's so small. So this genetic dust, it just happens to, if it gets into our bodies and touches a cell, because it picks up a protein, and it can link to a cell. It goes and it starts. It just happens to be the right beginning and end point of a genetic code to say, I'm going to reproduce myself. It's all just chance, right? And as soon as it's reproducing itself, it's the waste that comes out of the cell. It goes out into more genetic dust, and it just reproduces it, but it's a slightly different. I know whenever I eat anything and it comes out, it's not the same. It's mutated, right? And so there is no virus that just is ongoing, indestructible, and stays the same. It always mutates. And that's why even the head of the health department in France said they all just die out, right? There's a bell-shaped curve. It goes up and it goes down, and it's over. They don't come back. There might be another version of it. That's like the same flu virus that everyone always gets, right? Influenza, right? Sometimes the influenza is much worse than the previous year because it's mutated, and it continues. You don't have the same one unless someone purposely has cultured a strain, right, and reproduces that strain, right, and then continues to bring it back out year after year. Otherwise, it's impossible for it to be the same. So we'll never have a COVID-19 ever again, right? It will always be something different, and just like the beer virus or has always been, right? Whether it came from Wuhan or whether it came from some other place, right? It's always about the basic, piece of it. It's kind of like this, right? And then it's mutated afterwards.
Well, you remember when this first came out, and I said it was the COVID virus is the common cold virus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
It is actually the common cold virus. It was introduced in like 1956, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many millions and billions of people, an innumerable number of people, have got a cold? Right? Plenty. So this is the same virus, right? Now they've mutated it and tried to magnify it and do other things to it, right? But it was, it wasn't effective as the global killer they wanted it to be, right? But it's very clear they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear, I've been floating back and forth about that in general, yet they want it to be deadly, but is it deadly from the standpoint of the actual virus itself, or because it's a grand deception? Trey Smith has a new video out, and it's about Pan, the god Pan, Pan, and basically this is again going back to the devil, right? And Pan is another name for the devil. And when they used to worship this back in Syria, Lebanon, back in the day, what did it actually mean? This was like the king of the gods or the head god or whatever. And they hold these ceremonial places, right? And they had the idea of where that you would have Pan in you was what their whole perspective was. So it was to get the devil in you, and the methods that they would use, they would use this concoction, and they would have pharmacopoeia type of things where they would be bringing in these different things, and the things they used were aborted fetuses, bat blood, animal blood, and they'd make a brew, right? All to get the devil in you. But it was, right? So, but the thing that I found interesting in this new video he put out on Pan is that it was the great deception, the great deceiver. So, is this virus anything other than a deception? Is it really?
No.
Was it ever really deadly? I really question that now. I mean, I know we floated back and forth, on how, there's 6 versions of it, and there's this late, and I heard, I repeated it, right? I said, hey, this just lays the groundwork, and that came from George Webb. Now, is George Webb controlled opposition? I think he is now. After, hey, this guy was, he gave a good story, right? And he came out of nowhere and find out. And I said, well, it's a little too patent eaten, but what was it? What was the where did that all lead to? Oh, conspiracy theorists are bad. That was right. So, but he also did something else. The virus is real. It's deadly, and I really don't think that anymore. I don't think it's real. I like in Pursuit of Truth and Sir Patrick Mann. He keeps saying, "You got the Rona?" I don't got the Rona. Every video he does now, he says, "I don't got the Rona." You got the Rona? I don't know anyone who has the Rona. Do you know anyone who has the Rona? And then, so
I mean, it's such a ridiculous. In New York, they're launching. They want to launch this tracing thing, right? So now look at what's going on in New York, right? So you got everybody meeting on Zoom, right? So, and they're all talking about this like this is the new normal. They keep saying this. That's bullshit. This is not the new normal. The new normal is where these jackoffs are not calling the shots on anything to do with our life.
I like that
new
one.
Normal is, like, first of all, you don't even have the right to tell me to wear a mask or to take a shot or to tell me to do anything with my body. The sovereignty in this country is held by the people, and I'm one of the people. So you work for me. And I'll tell you what, I've got videotape of those police pulling up, and they had a big old machine that blasted out a recording, and I was there live and saw it with my own eyes. And they said, this is an unlawful assembly. And I'm like, first of all, I was like, no, it's not. And that's the first thing I said. I'm like, the hell it is. There's 8 people here. There's 30 cops. If anybody is unlawfully assembling, it's you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it said, by order of the governor of the state of New York and the mayor of New York City. I'm like, first, who the hell are they? What right do they have to tell me I can't be on the sidewalk? They're not the governor of the sidewalk.
Right.
They're not the governor. They're not the governor of this exact space. I'm like, and on top of that, they're governor of a corporation that operates at the behest of my will as one of the people. So that's the problem. Everybody backs down. Now I'm telling you, every one of those cops there was 30 cops there. I'm sure there's video of it there. I stood there in front of 30 cops by myself, calling them all out. I looked at every one of them. I said, you are people making decisions about other people. I'm like, and at some point, you're going to have to stand and make a decision. Do I stand with a corporation so you can keep your job, or are you going to stand with the people? Now, if you stand with the people, you might lose your job. But if you stand against the people, I promise you, we're going to come get your job anyways. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. The people don't know that we have every right to say what you're doing is unlawful.
Yeah.
You don't have the right to. You work for us. You're supposed to protect us. Now, I have the lieutenant who was there, and I know the woman who's with me, Andrea. She's in fuego. She was going off because they entrapped this woman. And he was the lieutenant for the legal department. And I need to follow up with her. I should call her right back. But I can guarantee you, she knows what she's talking about. I mean, she knew exactly what to do. She's like, she's going after that guy per se, and she's going to take his job.
Yeah.
And she should, because I sat there in his face. I have it on recording. I confronted him about the Constitution. I said, don't you have an oath? He said, yes, of course, absolutely. I said, to the Constitution, yes, absolutely. Then why are you here infringing on this woman's constitutional rights and he didn't even know what the Constitution said? That all by itself, he should be removed from his position.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a listen to the sheriff in San Bernardino, and let me share it with you. This really, I think, sums it up well where we're at. Go.
In a stirring speech before the Riverside County Board of Supervisors, reiterated his determination not to back down from his refusal to enforce statewide stay-at-home orders in his county. Bianco had stated in early April that he would not set up any type of police state in his county. On Wednesday, Bianco spoke as the board considered whether to remove the county health officer's order, including mandatory face coverings and social distancing guidelines. Bianco called for the reopening of businesses. Take a look.
To speak?
Yes, sir.
Is he here? Oh, there he is. Hey, Sheriff. I know we have as well. I know we also have Terry and Jacqueline that were in the queue. If you don't mind, we're opening up the space for our sheriff. Thank you, Sheriff.
Good afternoon. 8 weeks ago, our public health officer and the governor participated in something never done before in our nation's history. They ordered residents into their homes, closed their businesses, made them wear masks, forbid them from going to church, and eliminated constitutional freedoms put in place over 200 years ago. In the name of a public health crisis, our civil liberties and constitutional protections were placed on hold. Over the past 2 months, we have asked a lot from our residents so we could flatten the curve of infection to prevent our hospitals from being overcrowded. It worked. What isn't being emphasized is that 2,000 of the 4,300 people who have tested positive have already recovered and returned to work. What that means is that out of 2.5 million people in Riverside County, we have only 2,300 residents positive with this virus. Statistically, that is less than 1/10%. Unfortunately, we have lost 181 of our residents to this virus, but keep in mind that that is only 7/1000ths of 1%. While the loss of any life is tragic, we must also be cognizant of the future and well-being of our county's fiscal health and the ability to perform necessary functions. Our future success depends on the leadership of our county to make decisions based on facts and data, not projections and fear. The fact is, everyone doesn't have to be afraid of this virus. Without other serious medical issues, the danger of this virus is significantly lowered, if not eliminated. If you are afraid of contracting this virus or if you have underlying health conditions, you should stay home. From the beginning, I told you that I would not be enforcing the stay-at-home order, partly because I trusted our residents' ability to do the right thing without the fear of being arrested. I knew that they could be trusted to act as responsible adults, and I was correct. As we continue, I will reinforce my position. Not only do we not have the resources to enforce unreasonable orders, I refuse to make criminals out of business owners, single moms, and otherwise healthy individuals for exercising their constitutional rights. I believe Riverside County residents are responsible enough to proceed cautiously. The original projections and fears that caused these orders to be put into place have been proven wrong. As leaders, we must adjust our decisions to better serve the county as a whole. There cannot be a new normal. We are talking about a country formed on the fundamental freedoms of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Any new normal is a direct attack on those basic rights which set us apart and make us the greatest country in the world. I appreciate the effort that you guys are taking for this. I appreciate your consideration and everyone's comments, and I don't envy you, but I hope you vote to rescind the order. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
We love you, Sheriff.
There we go. So he was fantastic, right? We want all of our law enforcement to really stand up for the people, right? And that's what we're talking about. And just one other note: this is a new news network, right? Next News Network. So they have 17,500 subscribers here on BitChute. We can do the same. We're talking about building a platform. Well, BitChute is a platform, right? The one thing is that we like that we're doing is the live streaming, and these other systems don't have that capability, right? They just, and the reason is it's a financial one, and it's almost insurmountable. There is a technology I'm aware of from a friend of mine that has built this technology for live streaming from a long, long time ago, from the ancient times of the internet. And I'm going to discuss with him about how to bring this up to be maybe make a platform that we can move the front lines and the Speak project and all this kind of stuff too. So we actually operate. It's kind of along the lines of what I wanted to do with the website, the wwg1wga.love website, was really to have that capability of broadcasting from one place that wouldn't be susceptible to the censorship. So anyway, so I think we need to move the BitChute now, and I encourage everyone to still go there. We did get a couple more people coming over and watching the video I posted up there. So we're up to 164 views, but still only 73 subscribers. I implore everyone, please go over and subscribe and watch at least this video, right? And let's try and boost that, right? And then and see how we can start, having our presence there as opposed to YouTube, and use YouTube as an auxiliary, and a way of marketing what we have here.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, back to the sheriff.
Feels
anyway.
good to me. Yeah,
Anyway.
I love that. I love what that sheriff had to say. It was great.
Yeah.
I thought he was really awesome. And I'll tell you, I encourage anybody in law enforcement out there to follow those footsteps. The people will support you. And you won't lose your job. Remember, the sheriff is an elected position, right? So I will be reaching out to every single sheriff in New York State, and I will be appealing to them, ensuring that they understand the actual Constitution. Because what I've seen so far here in New York is that most police officers do not. They're not aware of it. They don't know how. They don't appear to realize that they have every right to say, I will not violate these people's right because I swore an oath to the Constitution. Therefore, any direction from a superior officer or a governor or a mayor or otherwise, they don't have the authority to fire you for not following an order that violates someone's fundamental right. They don't have that right. They want to have the biggest lawsuit in history on their hands. And we'll follow up on that too. We'll set up the lawsuit for every cop who gets fired for that.
Yep.
Yeah. And by the way, we'll make sure to take out Cuomo on his personal and private capacity. We're not going to sue the state of New York. We're going to sue him.
Yep.
We're going to sue the whole, every member of the assembly, every single every one above them who told them to do this. Like, enough's enough. Like, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be known as the name taker here in a minute. I'm taking everybody's name. I'm going to make sure I will add you to the list.
Tank.
And I'm going to lean on your house.
So it's Tank.
Yes.
It's Tank the name the name taker. Tank the name taker.
Tank the name taker. You better not keep pressing. I'll tell you what, because I'm going to serve you. I'll serve your wife. I'll serve your husband. Whoever. Everybody is going to know that this is what you've done, right? You should have stood with the people. You have a choice. And everybody right now, the most powerful entity on the planet is the collective will of the human consciousness. And all it takes is for us to stand together. And we are a force that cannot be overtaken. They don't even have the power to do it. Think about this. All you got to do is shut off their adrenochrome supply, and they fold. They're done. All by themselves, they're not particularly impressive or innovative or psychic. They've had to modify themselves, especially these guys who've been there a long time. Shut down their supply. Somebody in security, right, is delivering these guys, adrenochrome and kids and everything else. Stop it. Just stop doing it. It's not worth it. What are you doing? Like, you take them adrenochrome and you're a slave for another day.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
Yeah. So this when I hear like the Ventura County Health Department coming out and talking about taking kids from because they tested positive, or the parents test positive for the virus, they're going to take the kids away. And who are they going to give them to? CPS. Right? Where else are they going to? They have someone else that they're going to give them to? No. And if 80% of all the missing children come from CPS, there's a problem there, right? This is obviously an attempt to get at more adrenochrome. Whether they know whether that guy out there, from the health department knows what he's saying or not, if he's just following orders, doesn't matter. It doesn't. We can't be breaking up families for something with 0.001, mortality. That's less than the common flu. That's the thing. This particular virus, it doesn't have the mortality even of the regular flu. It's like the more it might be spreading much faster. That's great, wonderful. It doesn't harm anyone, except for those who have pre-existing conditions and they're in their 80s. So that's sad for the people that are in their 80s, but that's just like catching the flu. If they even have a good immune system, they'll be able to fend it off. And now we know that there are solutions for it. Hydroxychloroquine, vitamin C, zinc,
The quantum biofeedback device.
the quantum biofeedback.
Hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
A healthy immune system, proper nutrients. I mean, there's a million. This is not even a thing. This is not a thing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
That's why.
When you really look at it,
that's why this it's the pandemic. It's It's the deception. It's the grand deception. This is what they're all about, right? Deceiving us, telling us lies, telling us the opposite, right? This is just another version of it. This is their grand, laughing moment, right? We convinced them all that it was deadly, and we got them all to give up their businesses and their lives and get vaccinated. Make the new normal wearing a mask, breathing your own toxic waste.
The next time I go to a protest or anything, I'm gonna make a T-shirt that has that quote on it from Kissinger. I'm gonna make sure they.
Yeah, read that. Read that again.
Sure, I will read it again. I'll tell you, because it's worth reading again. This is the kind of thing that's like people need to tune into. This is from Henry Kissinger, a speech to the World Health Organization Council on Eugenics, February 25th, 2009. Once the herd accepts mandatory forcible vaccination, it's game over. They will accept anything. Forcible blood or organ donation for the quote, greater good. We can genetically modify children and sterilize them for the, quote, greater good. Control sheep minds and you control the herd. Vaccine makers stand to make billions. And many of you in this room today are investors. It's a big win-win. We thin out the herd, and the herd pays us for providing extermination services. Now, what's for lunch? Now, imagine dropping some heavy stuff like that. And you can picture his muttering old self in 2009 the way he was probably talking, right?
Yeah.
He's sitting there telling everybody there, like, everybody wins, man. Everybody wins. Well, I mean, not the people, but everybody here.
One of the things that, Kissinger is one of the few people I remember from when I was like in high school, right? Where the rumors were that he wears, women's clothes and he likes young boys. Don't know what how young is young, but the guy is a horrible human being, if he's human. And this is what we're dealing with, right? These people that have been in these power positions and can give a speech like that, right? And still keep going because the media is all part of the game. And that's why we need our own platform. So, yeah, I really support that. Us making as much moves to making that happen. I don't know the right. Maybe the best way to go and do something like this is, a GoFundMe page or one of the other crowd. I don't think GoFundMe is the right one to use, but these crowdfunding websites. Maybe that's the way to go. Not using Kim's name though, but we could still if there's money needed to do this, I'm sure we can get the people all to donate and make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could, and I'm not, and it's one of those things where I'm pretty resourceful, right? So what I always tell Kim, I'm like, tell me what you need, and I'll go get it done, right? And generally, to people's credit, I have literally thousands of people who've done all types of work for Create Change and Speak Project, the Guardian of Camelot, in Lawful America for free. They've worked tirelessly. Now, to be honest, it's for their own benefit, right? But people that are willing to work, and a lot of people really, have just created great products, and just done great things in the name of restoring humanity, right? And that is what the point is. Now, I've got this person who keeps harassing me on Twitter, right? First they were running their mouth about Thomas, and they were, saying all types of things about Kim, and I'm like, what are you? And then saying that I was running interference. I'm like, listen, to anybody out there that wants to poke holes in my game, you better come with it. Because if you think you got something that's worth actually pointing out, go ahead and do it. I don't care. I could care less what you useless hacks have to say and what you want to bring to the table. All I have done, all Kim has done, nonstop, 24/7 for as long as I've known Kim, nonstop, working her ass off for the people, right? We're in a time where, at this point, I'm thrilled Kim's willing to step forward and say, look, we got to get this network up and running. And you know what? You know what will happen? And this is what happens with all of us. In all likelihood, until, she's able to free money that belongs to her, right? She has billions of dollars in administration fees owed to her personally that she has every right to take, right? It's work she's done. But not only that, she also has a claim, right, inside of the trust that belongs to her as well. It's from the Alexander family. That's her money, right? She also has a personal claim there. Now, she's not even trying to do that. She's not even making a big deal. And people will attack her for, raising $5. Meanwhile, people are making money all the time. People are making money all the time, all over the place. Nobody says anything. But, they'll be jumping down our throat, about one thing or another. I'm just like, enough of that. Everybody's got to survive.
Right.
We need to come together and figure out how to get it done. Now, I'm not soliciting donations, But you know what? You might have a resource out there who knows how to do something or can help, let us know. And if you're somebody who's been, holding pocket aces and you really want to put your money towards something, that's fine too, We'll take it, but I'm not going to solicit it. So I'll tell you what, this is how I feel about everything. I don't threaten people to do something, ever. You know why? Because I don't want them to do it for that reason. I don't pay for people to spend time with me, right? Or so I can spend time with them, right? I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
The value of the product that we have is so valuable. It's like a relationship. You don't want somebody to be with you just for your money because they don't appreciate who you are as a person. So my attitude has always been, look, I'm going to be the best possible person I can be. And those who know will just want to be around me. And those who don't, I don't want them around anyways.
Yep.
Nobody wants somebody around, just because of what they have. You want people in your life who want to be with you because of who you are. And you ought to have an attitude of to be self-conscious enough to try to be the best version of you that you can be. So I look at it the same way. People can talk all they want. Who else has been? I don't think there's anybody else in the whole world who's been on air live every single day except for you, me, Dan. Somehow, somewhere, I guarantee you, in the past 415 days, we have at least 415 shows.
425.
425. I guarantee we have at least 425 shows, if not more.
430 today. Yeah, at T-minus
Okay,
6 and counting. Yeah.
So in addition to everything that you and I have done here, I guarantee you I've got another 200 shows that I've shot. So in this 425 days, I guarantee you I personally have been on at least 600 different videos breaking these things down. And to be honest, the quality of our product has done nothing but get better. We've consistently brought you the truth, even when it's not popular, consistently brought you the best possible message. And you know what? And Kim has given us, she's been fighting everything behind the scenes. And despite all that, now she's like, she's basically saying, look, we need to get the truth out there too and really lighten the public up. Now, that's why she reached out to me initially. So, and right when she first reached out to me, I got the impression like she thought we could do it right then. My opinion, the reason why she's pushing this out now is because she's finally got all behind the scenes stuff done.
Yeah.
And now the only thing separating us from freedom is our own awareness and our willingness to contribute and participate and make this happen. Whatever that means. So, just FYI for everybody.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely in the final battle. We're here at this moment, and it takes time to get there. We've fought all these other battles to get there, and here we are. We're at the time when this is all coming about, when we can see that our efforts have materialized in this moment, from the things we've done in the past and the things that have yet to come. They're all materializing right here, right now, because this is how you create reality. In here, in this moment.
I will tell you this too. So Kim asked me for a specific Mother's Day gift. So it has to do with a song. She wanted me to make a parody of a certain song. So she wanted me to reach into my network and do that. So I made a call right afterwards, and I'll give her credit when she gets me the song. And she's already pulled the song, rewrote it, and she's scheduled studio time, and we'll have it produced and ready to go by Thursday. Now, how about that? It's amazing what you can do, right? And that is going to be amazing, and that is going to be hilarious, and encouraging. And that is something I'm going to ask everybody now. If you have a picture or a video or something you want to share with us, you can send it to me, Stephen Rao, at speakprojectmedia.com, and you'll be part of the video. And Kim wants that video to go viral. And if you want an idea, we need videos and pictures of people in masks. And if you want to know what you should be doing, I would look at the theme song from Flash Gordon.
Flash!
That's all I'm going to say.
Ow! You're the king of the universe!
Right.
Da-da.
Yeah, should be fun.
Are we good? Are we good for today?
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for the time, everybody. Keep your spirits up. Keep your spirits high. Everything's going our way. I'll talk to you later, Dan.
Yeah,
Have a
sure.
good night.
One last thing before we go, just letting everyone know, I had the first gold ring coin auction yesterday at Grains.bid, and it went out wonderfully. Everyone loved it, and we're doing another one tonight, roughly 9 hours from now, and we're going to be rolling it out so that it's going to be ongoing auctions every day, but right now we're kind of scheduling them a little at a time. But it worked out well. Everyone loves it. So hope to see more people want to participate. And on that, we'll see you tomorrow, Tank. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later, everybody. Bye.